Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. Have you ever noticed when you're coming close to some sort of success or opportunity, all of a sudden it can fall apart, like we tend sometimes to sabotage ourselves. And there's a reason for this. The idea of self-sabotage is one of the greatest causes of personal failure, whether we realize it or not. And most of the time we don't even know what's going on or how to stop it. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about that, the scientific perspective as well as the Kabbalistic perspective and how they go together, because there's never a contradiction, but we need to get to the root. And the month of Virgo is an excellent opportunity to be able to change these things from the inside out. So going back to 1972, one of the researchers, Martina Horner, discovered the concept that we're all familiar with, which is what they called the fear of success. Fear of success. Now, I'm not sure I'd agree with the idea of fear of success. This idea was changed, however, in 1978, when psychologists defined this idea of self-sabotage, or as the self-handicapping theory. Burgess and Jones in 1978 said, when we deliberately create obstacles, create obstacles like procrastination, bad habits, protecting ourselves from potential failure, meaning a fear of failure, which is more understandable, we fail and we have an obstacle or an issue that we can blame to give us the justification for why this didn't go well, why I failed. Now, the Kabbalah explains it differently, okay? Of course, the Zohar explains, and all the wisdom of Kabbalah explains two basic ideas, and I'll explain both of them. Why this self-sabotage occurs and how to change it or correct it, because Virgo is the month of correction. And so now would be the easiest time to reverse these things, not only fix it, but reverse it. So what the Zohar explains is anytime there is an opportunity for new light, and that's the way we explain it, new light. New light means a new accomplishment, new growth, anything that's new that's going to add to my personal, whether it's growth, whether it's opportunity, whether it's money, whether it's, whatever it is that's going to add something new, it's generally going to come with a challenge for me to overcome, okay? Why? Now there's a reason for that, okay? Hang on, we'll come back to that. But it will come with a challenge. The other reason, meaning besides not being willing to overcome the challenge that comes with a new opportunity, is something called bread of shame. Yes, this is a concept in Kabbalah, bread of shame. Now, it's a deeper concept which relates to what the Kabbalists explain is the higher levels of the soul. You see, we have different stages of our soul. We have the lower levels of our soul. See, a soul is not just, a soul. No. There are different parts, 5 basic components to the soul, according to the Kabbalists. The lowest level is connected with the body, and basically all the desires of the body, which is survival, which is me, which is my pleasures, it's the lowest level, okay? That's connected with the physicality of the body, survival, pleasure, whether it's food, sex, basic fulfillment of the body, okay? And it's generally considered the selfish desire of the body, the selfish desires of the body, okay? Because it involves only me and my satisfaction, okay? That's the lowest level. It's called nefesh, N-E-F-E-S-H, the nefesh, lowest level. We're born with it. It's basically the infant consciousness, which doesn't know any better, but of course we grow, and the issue is it's natural for infancy, even up to 12 or 13 years old. But as we get older, we're supposed to grow out of that and go to higher levels of the soul. And I would say the problem or the challenge is that many don't. We sort of stay with the lower levels of soul, even up until mid-age, even old age. So it's not a function of intelligence per se. It's a function of consciousness, of being able to go outside of oneself, okay? And truly think of others outside of me, without thinking of me and my comfort and my agendas and so on and so forth. The higher level of soul is called neshama. And we're not going through all the different stages because there's one in between. We're not going into it. But the higher level of soul is called neshama. Neshama. Now that higher stage is called godly, okay? It's godly. Meaning what? It means it's a part of the Creator's spiritual force. And as such, again, a part of the Creator's spiritual force, and as such, it shares characteristics with God or the Creator force. What is the character of the Creator? One thing, it's a giving force, period. According to the Kabbalah, there is no capacity of receiving within the Creator's force. It's only goodness, bestowal, kindness, love, everything that is the force of good and bestowal and giving and sharing and any beneficence that it's possible for us to feel in this world comes from one source, and that is the God force or the Creator force. Now, there's many other things going on, so where does, aren't there negative forces, spiritual negative forces? Yes, there are, but not in the force of the Creator itself. Never anything bad. There is no bad. There is no receiving. There is no taking. There is only good and beneficence. Now, the higher levels of our soul are connected to that. So you have to pay attention, because let me review so far what we've said. There are two concepts according to Kabbalah that are responsible for potentially sabotaging ourselves in the sense of success or growth. Again, what are they? Number one, the idea that there is challenge required to go to any new stage of growth, and I'm not willing to overcome that challenge. That's number one. Number two is the concept that we call bread of shame, which we have not yet fully explained, but it relates to the higher level of soul that is connected to the godly part of the Creator, which is only a force of bestowal, giving, sharing, beneficence. Okay? We have that ability, but that doesn't mean that's the way we act, and I will explain. So, going back to science or psychology for a second, we've all heard, I think, the concept of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Now, what does that have to do? Now, this, by the way, this concept came about in 1957, by the way, by a psychologist named Leon Festinger. And he explained it in a very interesting way. When our reality changes in order to suit our narrative, imagine. So let's say something is maybe too difficult for me. I will cause my reality to change by what I do or by what I don't do, unconsciously or subconsciously, to fit my narrative. That this is impossible, or this is too hard for me to do, or reasons why it didn't work out, because so-and-so did this to me, or will play a victim, or something to give me a good reason as to why it didn't work out. Rather than taking a personal responsibility for something, we will cognitively distance ourselves from the situation, from the reality or the truth of the situation, and find another reason, find something to blame, okay? Now, we understand that, of course, this simply pushes us far away because it's not the truth. In fact, it's a lie, okay? Even though we may not realize that's a lie, because what's the truth? The truth is we are in control, whether we realize it or not, however things go. Now, that doesn't mean we're always in control of what happens. We may not have control over that, but we are always in control of how we perceive it and what we do with it. That we always have control over, potentially, okay? No one else is in charge of our thoughts. So how we perceive what just happened, if it's good or bad, and how we choose to move forward with it, that's all on us. So we may not be able to control the situation itself, but we can always control how we feel about the situation. Now, the Kabbalists explain, according to how we react to a situation, will also determine in some way the future of the situation, because we can change situations according to how we react to it. We can, for the most part, change our reality. And certainly, the way we react to a situation will also ultimately affect how we deal with it and what we do with it. And that will affect the outcome. So you see, our attitude about what happens is extremely important. So I don't want to say just having a positive attitude, it's more than that. But understanding the situation, whatever's happening right now, is the best possible scenario for me. And I'm always in control of that, okay? Even if it doesn't look that good, but still our attitude will control the future of the situation. So, challenge, as we said, is necessary because there is a concept called bread of shame. Now, the concept of bread of shame is in effect for the challenges that come our way, and also for what we will call the inconsistency that is between the lower part of our spirit, our soul, or what we call the nefesh, the basic part of our soul, and the higher level of our soul, which we said is godly, which only has one characteristic: bestowal and sharing, just like the God force. Whenever we are at odds with ourselves, as it were, meaning the lower part of me wants to lie, but the higher part of me knows it's not possible for me to lie because God doesn't lie. And if my soul is a part of the Creator, God, the higher part of me can't lie, but the lower part of me can. So why is it, think about it for a second, why is it that a young child, if he tells a lie and he looks in now at his parents and he has trouble maybe to look at his parents in the eye because he knows he's telling a lie. So we'll say, well, because he's lying. Yeah, so what? Why does he have a problem? Because internally, innately, and of course children are closer and more sensitive, we build up ego and we're less sensitive as we get older, but the child, since he's more kind of sensitive to himself, to his soul, because he's younger, he doesn't have that much, junk or yet, he's the dichotomy between the higher part of himself and the lower part of himself that's lying, it's felt. It's like electricity. It's felt. So in essence, he's different than the Creator within him. And I'll say that because the higher level of the soul is like the Creator within us. And there's a difference. While this is all sharing, this is receiving selfishly the lie, whatever I get from lying, whatever I get from cheating, whatever I get from judging, whatever I get from anger, whatever it is, okay? Negative behavior or selfish or self-based, me-based behavior, whatever it might be, is always going to be at odds with the higher part, with the godly part of ourselves. And it creates friction, blockage. It is not congruent. It is not in line. We call that bread of shame. It means receiving something that I can't truly receive. But I'm receiving it. But I don't feel good with it. And immediately the higher part of me feels, no, I can't do this. I owe. I need to give back. To give back who? Well, or the person I took away from, or the person that I lied to, or in some way to put that energy back. If it's not possible with that person, with that situation, then in general, cosmically. I need to put into the system. I need to feel that I'm giving back. And that's why, some people who are very, very sensitive to themselves, to their soul, not to themselves physically, but to their spiritual part, don't like to receive gifts, don't like to receive anything, don't like to lie, don't like to, some people just can't do that. They just can't do it. Some people have no problem at all, okay? Because the result of negative behavior, and I won't go into it now, is coverings. We become kind of veils, we call it in the Kabbalah. Veils come about and cover and lessen the sensitivity of our soul, so eventually it's possible, to continue to create a negative behavior, and I become very insensitive now. I become less sensitive to myself, and I'm blocked, I'll become more blocked, and that's a whole other story, okay? But we can definitely create blockages. We can remove them, which is in part what we're talking about. When we've already built up a lot of blockages, it becomes more difficult, of course, to fix that or to correct it. Definitely possible, but not without work. So the reason why self-sabotage, so where's the self-sabotage? Where do you think? Now that child who just lied to his parents, do you think in that very moment, does he feel he deserves ice cream? He. Now, if he lied for the first time, I would say he will feel he doesn't deserve good. He'll feel bad to receive good because he knows he did bad. And he doesn't really feel worthy in that moment. Now, he can get over it, right? He can get over it. And a child maybe who's not sensitive, he'll say, yeah, give me ice cream. He may not feel it. But the point is, on an internal level, he doesn't feel he deserves it. Because when we take for ourselves, on a spiritual level, we don't feel we deserve to truly receive. Yes, we can receive superficially, but that receiving is going to be short-term, because internally it needs to be held by the higher level of the soul. And the higher level of the soul says, no, nothing doing. I can't receive, I owe. I need to give back. Now remember, this is the higher level of the soul. The lower of the level of the soul has no problem, and our body has no problem to receive all day and all night. Selfishly, no problem at all. So, you see, we actually, spiritually, potentially, we create a mess. We can create a mess. Now, this mess is not irreparable. We can definitely fix these things. But we can see this idea of sabotage, and it will lead to these things that science calls, by different names, cognitive dissonance, or fear of failure, or fear of success, or whatever these things are psychologically. Psychologically is backed by spiritually the soul and the mechanism on which the soul is based. Remember, higher level of the soul based on a sharing concept and giving and doing the right thing. This lower level of the soul, selfish, is connected to the body consciousness only. I want now what's good for me, and I don't care about anybody else. We all have that to whatever degree. Again, but that doesn't mean we're all connected to that. What are we connected to more strongly? The higher level of me or the lower level of me? And we tend to operate on some level of homeostasis that is creating a balance. You see, when things don't go our way, it's sort of a payment. I mean, what if everything would go our way all the time? Hey, everything is great, right? But the truth of the matter is, internally, we don't feel we deserve that, for everything to be going our way all the time. So we have this ups and downs that enable us, when the down period of times, we feel, oh, this is difficult, this is hard, but unconsciously, we are paying. We are paying very often for the times that we received and we didn't do anything for it. Okay, that we received or we took energy, because we're always taking energy, right? We're energy thieves in a way, very, very often. We're taking energy of pleasure, we take energy of, justification, validation, whatever, by getting angry, by being right too much, by our interactions with other people, with ourselves, whatever it is, proving ourselves, and whatever. We can be full of nonsense, okay, if we're honest and admit it. Fine, normal and natural. But we do need to even out the scales. And our soul is built to be able to do that. The question is, to what degree? To what degree am I putting into the system voluntarily? Do I give charity? Do I help others? Do I do actions of kindness with other people? You see, voluntary actions of putting energy into the system with other people, in situations, by trying to do my best to share in different situations, using spiritual tools. Those things help me balance myself and put the scales in my favor, and my unconscious actions will be less likely for sabotage. The opposite, in fact, will lead me to more good, will lead me to the path where I feel deserving internally. It's not anything conscious. Oh, I deserve. No, not that at all, because that's entitlement. That's not good. That leads to more debt, right? We're not talking about what you feel consciously you deserve. No, we're discussing what the soul feels entitled to on a soul level, and this we're not aware of. This we can only be aware of by looking at our own actions and, what we're doing, okay? Because when we truly give of ourselves to other people, internally, we have a place to receive. We have removed some of that bread of shame. And therefore, I don't need big challenges. I may still get challenges, but the challenge in the moment before a new light, a new opportunity comes about, is only for the sake of earning. So very often, as we said before, we need to remove the blockage. We need to remove the obstacle. If you want to win the marathon, you got to overcome challenges. If you want to do, an important deal, you need to work through it. There are challenges you need to overcome. That's natural and normal. And it must be there, because there is nothing really free. There is no free. And if it looks free, beware, be careful, because the payment is going to be somewhere. We don't know how it's going to come about. But again, there is no free. So we have to do the work that payment will be in the form of work, in the form of giving back somehow, however it comes about. And I don't know. I know you're going to ask me, well, what's the payment? I don't know what the payment is. Okay? It depends on the situation. Always better to do the work, all the work that's possible for us to do beforehand, and then we open ourselves, we open our spiritual vessel to be able to receive the good and the beneficence. Remember, it is not God who is the gatekeeper. No, God is giving all the time. There's no judgment on the part of the Creator himself. No, the Creator will give without calculation always. If you're good or if you're bad. Nothing to do with it, not from the Creator's point of view. That's not how the Creator operates. However, our own soul is the gatekeeper. And aren't there other things going on? Yes, there are. There are other forces at work. There are things as part of the system. There are angels, good ones, bad ones, whatever. Everyone has a job, okay? We're not going into all of that stuff. But from the purely the Creator perspective, the Creator doesn't make a calculation. If we're good or bad. Criminals get light too. Criminals get energy. Criminals get pleasure, right? It's not about that. What you get to keep, what you truly get to keep, and what gives you blessing in your life, that's what it's about. Because the individual who goes about getting that energy illegally, let's say, he'll get energy, it'll go away, he'll whatever, become addicted to that energy. It will need to repeat over and over and over again. And we're, again, another conversation, okay? But sort of like drugs, in a way, because energy is no problem. But getting the energy with the blessing, that's the art. That's the art. That's what we're discussing here. We want the blessings from whatever it is that we do. Blessing means all good leads to more good, which means all good is connected. And when we connect to what's truly good for us, and that is, and as I said, the gatekeeper is the higher level of our soul, we overcome the lower level of our soul, which is only about me and my selfish my selfish taking, I overcome that, and I do my best to do what's good, what's right, what's helpful, to benefit others, and so on. I give of myself, and so on. I create the opening for the light, the fulfillment, the pleasures, and the blessings that the Creator has to give us. I bless us all with the abundance, with that light, with the good that the Creator wants to give all of us and is just waiting for us to create the opening at any given moment. Many blessings, everybody, and I will see you very soon on the next video. All the best.